Okay, in today's class, today is Saturday, I think 19th July 2025. So, as per my promise, I will conduct the programming classes until my last breath of life and thrice of a week, 3 days of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the classes will be conducted under my Lakshmi Narayana Krishna Foundation. This is the promise I have given to my mother. Until my last breath of life, the classes will be conducted. Whether it may be any topic, it may be JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Python, Java. Already I have completed Python, Java almost 85%. Okay, that is enough. Then after I started to teach C, C++. Okay, somewhat I have finished. So then HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, now let us try to understand JavaScript. Okay. JavaScript already I have conducted somewhat classes. Okay, within that, many classes I have conducted over the basics like what that is what your syntax, variables, and variables like let constant operators. Okay, so then after objects, okay, functions, data types, I have covered. Huh? So today in this class, I am going to explain JavaScript objects. So JavaScript objects also, they are the variables. They are also variables. Okay. So objects, generally what happen, a variable will hold only one value. Variable will hold only one value. If I want to store more values, then I need to create like arrays. Okay, somewhat data structures. So here objects also variables, but they contain many values. That is the difference. Okay, it is a variable, but it can hold so many values. So like what see, one object, that is what this car here, it is just like created as a variable. Why? Because constant keyword I have used. Constant, I told you that how many ways we can create the, how many ways are there, how many methods are there. By that we can create the variables. So in the previous class, I have briefed that one is that automatically four ways are there. One is the automatically we can create the variables, and one is that by where keyword, by using of where keyword, by next let keyword, and constant keyword. So there are four ways. So here constant keyword I have used to create a variable. Variable name is car. So but this car variable, it is having how many values? One is Fiat, model 500, white, color white, three values it is having. So now we can say that this car is an object, but it is having what? Many values. So we can simply say that JavaScript objects are what? They are the variables too, means they are also the variables, but they can contain many values. But same thing, how the object see. Let us see this code. If I come here, so these are the values. What are the values? One object. See, create an object. So create an object. This code written inside of the script element. I told you that JavaScript code will be written inside of the script element. Every element has one start tag, one end tag. This is the end tag. This is the start tag. Understood that? This is the start tag. This is the end tag. So now this is called one element. So inside of that element, script element, the code to be written. Okay. So first of all, object means what? Object car is an object created with the constant keyword. Generally, it is a variable. So, but it holds many values. How many values? Fiat is a value, but that is type. Okay. Model 500. So white. So this is called one pair of value. One pair. One pair means type is keyword and value. One key and one value. So it is a pair. So how many pair of values are in this object? Three pairs. This is the first pair, comma. Every pair will be separated by comma. One more pair, second pair, third pair. And they will be kept in flower braces and then after semicolon. So object is created. Understood that? Next, we need to do what? We need to display data from that object. So we are displaying the data here, na? So display data from the object. So object is car. Okay, how? So generally, I told you that one method is there, that is the get element by ID method. Get element by ID method. This is the mostly used method of HTML, which is used in JavaScript. Okay, this is the HTML method and that will be used for JavaScript. Okay, and this method, what it does, this method will be used to access the HTML element, and that element, once it is being accessed, then that moment what happens? By this demo, this is the ID. ID is an attribute declared inside of this paragraph element. So by this demo attribute, ID is an attribute which is assigned the demo value. Okay, that is I have mentioned in this get element by ID method. So by this demo value assigned to this ID attribute, so by this ID, that HTML element will be accessed. Means by this get element by ID method, this method will be used to access the HTML element, and then after by this inner HTML property, okay, the HTML content will be displayed. The HTML content will be displayed on the screen. Okay, this is the story. Nothing to worry. Generally, rest of the code, that is from here to here HTML code, from here to here HTML. Only JavaScript code written in this script element. Only JavaScript code written inside of the script element. Understood that? Now, this is the way how to create an object. As I told you that this line of code indicates that this is the HTML document version 5. This line of code indicates that this is the HTML document version 5. Okay. Now then after this code, it indicates that under the HTML start tag and end tag, whatever the code that will be written, the code must be written inside of the body section. So whatever the code we will write inside of the body section, that will be displayed on the web page. That will be displayed. Whatever the code we will write inside of the body section has two tags. That is what? Body start tag, body end tag. Now, one start tag and one end tag called an element. Okay, every element has two tags, start tag and end tag. So inside of that, whatever the code we will write, that will be display on the screen. That will be display on the screen. So only JavaScript objects, creating an object, ID is equal to demo. So this will be filled by, this P means paragraph element will be filled with this content, which is part of your inner HTML property. Okay. So this content will be displayed. Okay, understood that. So this is the story. Now we will practice that how to write the code, code, how to write the code for, first of all, how to create an object, and then after how to get display of whatever the, see, car type is Fiat. Okay. Because this element I have taken, this element I have taken. If I want to keep model also, okay, I can add here. I can buy plus, simply plus, okay. Simply plus, simply plus. Car type is Fiat and model is equal to 500. Model equal to 500. So if then I want to write like the model, model, model equal to, okay. Now plus car model dot model, car dot model. Why? Because see what happened here. This string, the car type is, I am getting this display, the car type is plus concatenation. This plus will be used for concatenation of the string. This string will be concatenated with car dot type. Car dot type is what? Car dot type Fiat. And that Fiat string will be concatenated with this string. So car type is Fiat. Okay. Next, again I have used plus, okay. Model is equal to, this string will be concatenated with model. Okay, 500. Okay. So now let us see what happened here. If I run this code, whether this will be C. Now car type is Fiat, model is equal to 500. But both are what? Mingled. Both are what? Mingled. Then how to do separation? Okay. If I want to keep one more value like color is equal to white, color is equal to white. So keep plus here and keep some string color is equal to plus concatenation plus mark car dot what? Car dot color. Car dot color. Car dot color. Okay, now come color. This is what white. So everything we're watching, the car type is Fiat model, but I want to keep them separate, separate. So that is the, so what we will do, I will write the total code will be erased. Okay. And I want to write the code from the right beginning. Huh? So, so here there is no any code. First of all, let me write the code one by one. First of all, as I told you that exclamation mark doc type, this is why, because this line of code indicates that this is the HTML page version 5, HTML version 5, okay, by this code. Next word, I need to create that HTML tag. That is the start tag. Next, I will write the code for end tag HTML. Okay, now this total is called one element, HTML element. Okay, HTML start tag and HTML end tag, HTML. So now this is the code, it reflects, indicates that now this is the HTML5 document page. And we are stating that this is the code written for HTML, means hypertext markup language. And then we need to write the body under the body section. So whatever the code we will write, that will be display on the web page. Okay. Now see, now body section has one start tag and end tag. Now it is one element. Now, inside of this, whatever the line of code you write, that will be displayed in your web page. This is the pattern. Now, write first, this is what your header. So, you start with header. Okay, so many headers are there. So, Java, okay, script as per this script, okay, objects. Understood that? So then after you close this with end tag, header end tag. Okay. Now, so now your header element closed with the close tag. And this is the content which will be displayed on the screen. Okay. This is what. Next, one more, one more header like side heading, subheading. So if you want to create H2, okay, one more subheading, creating of creating of objects, an object. Okay. Now, so close this with end tag H2. Okay. Now, these JavaScript objects, it is a content that will be displayed on the web page. As I told you that whatever the line of code you will write inside of this body section, they will be displayed on your web page. Okay. This is one header and second subheading. Okay. Now next come to the point, paragraph section. So paragraph, it is paragraph element. Okay. Paragraph element will come with, okay, it will be end with paragraph end tag. So now inside of this, okay, I need to write what inside of this id is equal, id is an attribute, id is an attribute. Otherwise, we can simply say that id is an attribute. Okay, now that attribute that is to be assigned with some value which is mentioned your method get element by id method, that is the HTML method used for JavaScript. Okay, that code will be written in script. Okay, so here I will mention that demo. So the same, this will be given, given in script in that method. Okay, now come to the next point. This is okay, one id. So I will explain here, this content will be filled. ID will be filled with this content, whatever the content that is being displayed on the screen. So next, we need to do what? Now under the script start tag. This is the script start tag and script with end tag. Script element closed with end tag. So now inside of this JavaScript code will be written inside of script. Okay. So we need to write what? First of all, we need to access that HTML element. First of all, I want to access that HTML. This is the HTML element which is having ID. So I want to access this element, okay? And that element to be, whatever that element having the content that is to be displayed on the screen. So now, first of all, you write that method get element by ID. ID method must be having brackets, but this get element by ID method part of your documents. So we need to mention that what meant document dot get element by ID. Now inside of this ID I need to mention. So you mention here ID is equal by this ID. The browser will find the HTML element by this ID. Okay. By this ID is assigned demo. Okay, demo. So now this, by this ID attribute, this method will find the HTML element and then after dot inner HTML. This is the property. By this property, what happens? The content of the HTML element will be fine content. Okay, and that content will be filled in this section. Okay, and that will be displayed here. So inner HTML. Okay, inner HTML. So content is what we need to write like this. First of all, the car type, the car. Okay, the car type is, this is the string I want to, this string I want to display. Then after value to be taken, concatenation symbol I have used here, concatenation symbol. Then after what? What? Car dot type. So I have not created the object. That is the first thing we have done a mistake. No problem. I will create the object next later. So this is the, okay. Now come to the point. You mention here, create the object creation. Why? Because I told you that object is what? In JavaScript, objects are nothing but they are the variables too. They will hold so many values. So object creation, how? Constant keyword. I told you that constant car is an object. It has, so I told you that while we are creating any object in JavaScript, we can create with either constant keyword, let keyword, variable keyword, because constant, variable, let, these are the keywords to create variables. I told you that objects are also variables, but they will hold many values. Many values means here I need to suppose here, suppose if I have written 5, okay, now close. So what do you mean of this? Only one value I have stored. Only one value I have stored. But I want to store multiple values. I want to store multiple values. Then what I need to do? I need to keep braces, and inside of the braces, I can suppose type one value, and the type value, it is mentioned, this is key, and then value type is what? Fiat. Okay, fiat, this is the string. So then after comma, one value stored. So next is what? Model. So model and is equal to string, model is equal to what? 500. Okay, now comma, next color, color is equal to white. See, so now object created, terminate with the semicolon. So car is an object. That car has 3 pair of values. One pair is equal to type fiat, model 500, color. String in JavaScript can be kept in either single quotation marks, double quotation marks. Fiat is a string, 500 is a string, white is a string. So you have mentioned double quotation marks. There is no any problem. Now this object pair values, whenever you call car dot type, so this value will be displayed. Value will be displayed. Okay. So now let us see what happened here, whether the code will be executed, otherwise any error, then after we need to check back that. So we are not getting any result here. We are not getting any, creating an object. So what? Paragraph element, first paragraph, sorry, first header element, content, JavaScript objects. So that is being displayed here. Second header, side subheading content, that is being displayed. So means our object is created by while I am calling that method. So something is happened. So I need to check back that, na? So Mistakes we have done here. One is this is to be terminated with the semicolon, and then one more mistake. So once ID you have written here, ID is equal demo. So no need to write the ID again here. Okay. No need to. That is the one mistake. Okay. Whenever you do the mistakes, no, then you can learn. Okay. Whenever you do mistakes, then doing of mistakes and finding the right thing, that is very important. Once you have ID attribute is this is the ID attribute assigned with this demo value, and you are calling here. No need to write ID again. One is this, okay. And next is what? This greater than symbol. So I have missed. So understood that. So now let us try to run this code. Still, this is not run. Okay. So the what we have done here, whenever the pair that is being defined, that moment don't use this is equal to, that is the mistake. Okay. And key and pair, the key and values, they must be written